Alright, to do the neuron, I chose candy. I'm using a lollipop, candy bracelet, sour strips that came from punch candy, small pieces of yarn, and a long piece of yarn, and also tape. So I'm using the lollipop as a soma, which is the body cell that contains the nucleus of the neuron. This part processes the information received from the dendrites and sends it down through the axon. So this piece of yarn is gonna represent the axon, and I'm gonna tape it to the soma. I'm gonna grab some tape and just tape it to the back. So the axon is the long part that electrically transmits the information all the way down to the terminal buttons. Alright, so now I'm gonna use the sour strips as the dendrites, which is the part of the neuron that receives electrical messages from the neuron cells. This can happen either excitatory, which increases the stimulation of the neuron, or inhibitory, which decreases the stimulation of the neuron. So here are their dendrites. So the messages are going to go from the dendrites to the soma and the axon. So now I'm going to use the candy bracelet. This is going to represent the myelin sheath, which not every neuron contains, but this is a material that is around the axon that protects signals while traveling and helps them move faster over the long distance of the axon. So I'm just gonna tie them. So again, these are the soma, the dendrites, the axon, and the myelin sheath. Now I'm gonna grab the little pieces of yarn, and I'm gonna use the candy bracelet as the terminal buttons. So I'm gonna tie them at the end of each yarn. So with this do, this sends the messages that came down from the axon to another neuron. So here are the terminal buttons. So the message goes from the dendrites to the soma that processes the messages all the way down to the axon, faster in this time since it contains the myelin sheath, and down to the buttons. So this is the final product. Again, I use the sour strips as the dendrites, the lollipop as the soma, the long piece of yarn as the axon, and the candy bracelet, I used it as the myelin sheath, which is the part in the middle of the long string, and the terminal buttons, which are at the end.